Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hormone Helper podcast. I'm Coach Andrew, your hormone helper from Fit4All Fitness. I personally coach over 1,600 men and women to help better understand their hormones so they can lose weight and get their metabolism back on track. With this podcast, you're going to hear from me and my special guests about everything from metabolism to thyroid to weight loss. And we even talk a little bit of sexy time as we chat to spread more knowledge thick like butter on your hormones. If you're ready to learn, I'm ready to share, so let's do this. What is up, everybody? We are on for another episode of the podcast, and I gotta say, I don't know what is up with June, but I've been getting a ton of influx of questions on kind of what programs we offer, as well as like which program is best for things like weight loss versus just working on hormones. So like, I'm just going to do an episode really talking about our programs to help bring some clarity, because I don't like when there's no clarity, because then it leads to a lot of people to being stuck in a place of inaction. Okay. So now, while everything that we do is completely custom, we do have like 3 main programs that I talk about pretty frequently on Insta and in our discovery calls. And that's really because these programs are the absolute bomb when it comes to knowledge, support, and of course, getting people results, because I am a results-driven guy. So to make things super clear, I'm going to go through each of our main programs, what they're for, who they help best, kind of what our process looks like for clients who want to work with me as a coach, because some people are like, hey, I've never worked with a coach before. What exactly is involved in the process of working with a coach? Now, there isn't one program in this process that is better than others. It's more like there's a program that might be better for you to start in based on what you need, because everybody needs, of course, different things. Like, I find that people that we work with tend to be in like different camps, and maybe this will kind of clarify which camp you're in. Like, there are some people who are more the self-doers, like me. These are just people who are like, hey, give me the knowledge and tools, tell me where I'm going wrong, and maybe they just need a plan for nutrition or a change up in activity, and then they're just good to go. They take off, they fully launch, and they just do the work. And I love that, okay? But there's also some people who we work with that maybe they just struggle with implementation. They have a hard level of accountability, and implementing some changes, whether it's needed for routine or for a healthy lifestyle, it's hard to make it stick for them. So maybe they've done successful things in the past, like losing weight or, getting to a point where their digestion is good. Or maybe they've actually worked with other coaches and programs before, but for some reason, everything that they learned has had a hard time in making the change in the habits and routines actually stick for their food and their lifestyle. So with this, it's like, hey, they're looking for that kind of support to make it stick long term. Now, there's also kind of a third camp, okay, of people who just really value the support of working one-on-one with a coach. And that's because they just feel like, when I'm working with someone who's at a higher level than I am, who's farther along in the journey that I am, I just want to be in a place where I can fast track and I can get results. And they like that feeling of having a coach in their back pocket to help them make decisions on the fly and really to help answer any questions that they have through the process. Because there's going to be times where you're like, hey, you know what? Like, what the heck is going on? Or how do I navigate this? So regardless of which one you are and which camp you are in, you are completely welcome into our FitFam community. And that's because even though you might be looking for something different or even individual support, you still share the same values that every single other member in the crew are all about. This is actually improving, as I don't think that I don't think that I've ever shared this before, but every crew member kind of wants these 3 things for themselves in their health journey. Like, 1, they want to work on their health naturally. And this means learning more about their body, their hormones. It means learning more about food and finding different ways to exercise, as well as changing their lifestyle and their habits. Two, the people in the Fit Fam also want their nutrition and training to be realistic because they don't want to make all of these changes, learn all of these tools around food and hormones for it to be something that isn't going to be sustainable for them long term or easy for them to maintain when they have kids or when they're traveling on vacation and stuff. And I'd say like the most important thing for these people in the community is really number three. It's our Fit Fam has actively made being healthier a lifelong commitment, meaning these guys are prepared for this to be something that they are always getting better at as a part of their journey. Now, well, this doesn't mean like working with a coach forever, because I don't believe in that. It means that most of our clients know that success isn't going to be something that's in 1 or 2 weeks. It's something that's lifelong. And so they make commitments to themselves for 4 months to like, I think the longest client's been with us for, I think 7-ish years now, which is crazy to think about that. But these clients are like always working towards setting new goals. They're working on improving energy. They're working on their sleep. They're working on changing their habits so they can feel and experience life 1 to 2% better. So as long as you value those things, then you are already in a good spot to have me and to have the Fit Fam as a part of your team to help support you with whatever health goal you've got. So I want to go through now and I want to chat about the first programs. And I want to start with our Hormone Reboot Program. So the Hormone Reboot Program is designed specifically for like a really important reason. And it was to balance out and stabilize someone's hormone panel, to do it naturally using food. Because you see, a lot of people don't realize this. Hormones, and I've talked about this a lot, they are actually the computer that operates your metabolism without you knowing, and it stays on in the background to keep your metabolism functioning normally. So while hormones aren't something that most people talk about when you're younger, they start to become this silent challenge that does things to you like make you gain weight. It makes it harder for you to digest food, as well as it makes it harder for you to deal with stress, which makes you tired all the time. So when building this program, I recognize like when people experience hormone imbalance, they all complain about the same challenges. It's chronic weight gain, it's digestive issues, it's chronic fatigue. And when you have these kinds of problems, you do what most people do. You start doing all of what we call the quote unquote the right things. You start cutting out foods that trigger you, that trigger your bloating or trigger your IBS. You try to cut calories or change up your nutrition to drop the weight, and you start exercising more, thinking that this is going to be the tools, this is going to be the thing that helps you burn more fat as well as give you more energy. And you know what? For the majority of other people, all of that stuff works, but only for people who have stable, imbalanced hormones. So I built the program because I was coming across tons of people during our process who were doing all of the right things, but had such a huge hormonal imbalance that all of the right things weren't working. Because like if a person's estrogen is off, then doing things like removing trigger foods aren't going to work because it's estrogen attacking the gut, not food. And if someone's cortisol is off, then doing things like changing up your exercise routine or exercising more also won't work because cortisol is your stress response hormone and it forces your energy to shut down and makes you gain fat. So in building this program, I built it to tackle the hormonal shifts of estrogen and to help with digestion and body fat burning, and also to make sure that while we tackle that, cortisol is not increasing. So a person gets to a point where they can lower their stress enough to lose weight, but still have energy while doing workouts. So it's about speeding up the thyroid and stabilizing the metabolism naturally to a point where you don't have to maintain your food like crazy to still keep your metabolism in check. So that is a little bit on the Hormone Reboot Program. It's really about showing someone how to eat right for their body type and what nutrients they need to make that hormonal change and make it stick. And we also help them by adjusting their workout routine so they don't trigger cortisol again, and then help them make the transition into a simple, sustainable routine by creating this full step-by-step process. I kind of call it like from grocery store to dinner table with food, it's there. And from like when you get dressed to like when you take your runners off, it's all taken care of. A program like this is really about knowing and understanding the how. And this is really important because some people just need help with accountability. This is more about understanding the how of how your hormones work, and then telling you exactly what, which is what you like need to do in order to balance your hormones back to a stable level. So with a program like this, the best person for this to help is a person who has chronic digestive issues, who lacks energy, or who's always feeling burnt out and has, maybe it's about 10 to 15 pounds of weight that's been slowly growing over time over the span of like 6 months to a year. And that's because this hormonal shift has started to change all of those things. And all of this can be changed by speeding your metabolism back up. Now, there is a key piece to this of what makes people super successful with the Reboot program, and that piece is this. They are already working towards making healthy and good changes for their health and their fitness, but these changes are not working. They're eating healthier already, but they're not seeing results from food. They're moving more, they're exercising 3 to 4 times a week, but they're actually feeling exhausted and they're not seeing a physical change in their body. They're sleeping more and they've done a lot to change their sleep and their rest routine, but they still wake up feeling exhausted every single day. These people are clear candidates for a hormone reboot because changing the hormones is the thing that they need to reset them. And it's a key piece in resting and resetting your metabolism. So now the process of the program, because there is a process. I'm a big process guy. Okay. It's actually not long. It's about 8 to 10 weeks. Now, depending on what issues and what we're working with you or how much weight you're looking to lose, it's really about making sure that the body is in a stable and healthy place to work on the hormones and the metabolism. Once we can get those hormones stabled out, this is where we can start to tackle the weight, where we can start to tackle the digestion, and where we start to work on any of the other things like that long-term fatigue that's hanging around. Now, with a big piece of this, okay, to help people with a really high level of accountability in learning the how, in learning everything that goes into the hormone reboot, we have everyone show up on the program to our group coaching calls. The group coaching calls is the spot to be, in my opinion, because this is where you can hear the other amazing FitFam crew members ask and their questions, as well as like learn and apply a weekly lesson that I teach inside the call. These group calls are key success to everyone in our programs. And that's because everyone knows that with me, the best results you see are when you show up at a really high level. Because going to these calls is not just about getting your individual questions answered. It's about every single week you're plugged into a community that's always growing, always seeing results, always seeing progress, which makes you want to continuously implement. So when we teach you the how and we teach you the what, you're fired up and you're excited to keep showing up every single day, keeping yourself plugged into the energy so you can have the focus of working on yourself. And I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, like, well, I don't know really, like when people are sharing themselves, like, what are these types of shares? These shares, they're not just always involved in health. Like, don't get me wrong. It could be, someone shares like last week, like share 4 pounds down this week. Okay. Or like, hey guys, I slept the full night and that's never happened before. That's awesome. Okay. Or celebrating something like being bloat free. But there are also celebrations of taking back boundaries, of setting a schedule on your work so that way you could spend more time with kids. This is all about living a holistic lifestyle in a way that becomes sustainable. So with this program, you get the fundamental start of the how you manage and reboot your hormones and metabolism. And you also get the what, which is what foods to eat, what training to do, and what you need to change in your routine so you can start seeing results literally within the first week start. That is what is involved in the reboot program. Okay. Now, with this program, actually, I should say with any of our programs, okay, like I like to put a kind of like, here is it's a not for you thing. Okay. Because a lot of people are all like, is it for me? The biggest thing, which is to recognize, is something if it's not for you. I feel like a lot of coaches in the industry always want to take on everybody in a program when maybe it's not the best program for them. So pay attention if you're listening right now. It's like, hey, here is, it's a not for you thing. Okay. If you're someone who's never worked on your health before, okay, you've never worked to lose weight, you've never been on a I don't want to say a diet, but like you've never changed up your nutrition before, you're like totally green to the process in health and fitness. Okay. But you want to start, like, this program is not for you because it's already changing people who are in the active work. They're already doing this stuff. You're not a good fit for the hormone reboot. Like, if you're totally overwhelmed on what to do first, like, this program is more direct action, and it's the assumption that you've already tried everything. You're trying the food, but it's not working. You're doing the activity, but it's not working. So in the case of someone being an absolute beginner, someone who's new to the process or who wants to start at a very foundational level, you're more of a fit actually for our very first program, which is our Vantage program. And that's going to be the one that I'm talking about next. Because the hormone reboot being not just a short time frame, but also changing the hormones, we have to make specific changes and act on them very quickly in order for us to balance out. So if you're totally green, then this is where you tune in, because our Vantage program is absolute fire. The Vantage program is literally the very first program that I built as a coach ever, and that was for completely customized coaching. For me, I believe that every single person should go through our Vantage program, because it was a program that was built for people who want to know how to start taking charge of their health and doing it for themselves. Like, when I first built this program, it was actually when we had our physical studio that was in Oakville. And back then, me and Lorna, we were all in on just personal training. Like, we thought personal training and workouts, that was the success to everyone's health. And I only had people focus on exercising 45 times, holy cow, 4 to 5 times a week. Now, almost every single person that came to us, they didn't exercise consistently. And to me, I thought as long as we had them work out more, that we could get them to see consistent results like 10 to 15 pounds down and help them get back more energy. But here's what I learned about the workouts, and here's what I learned about implementing food. And it's that training is not the only thing that matters. We had people who were working out 5 times a week who couldn't lose a single pound. And we also started helping them make changes with their food, and they still didn't see any results after the first 10 pounds. Could you imagine putting in all that work and being stopped or plateaued at the first 10 to 15? It used to drive me crazy as a coach, because I was seeing these people make changes with their food, also start making changes with their activity, but their results were not as good as they could be. And that's when I recognized, I knew that there was something that was missing within what we were doing that was preventing them from seeing more. And that's when I started to take nutrition, and I started to realize that there was so much more hormonally that these people were missing. That they can exercise the right way and they can eat enough calories and macros, but if they lack the hormonal building blocks needed from food, then whatever they did is not going to work for long. So that's when I got to work on building the Vantage program. It was built through that nutrition knowledge, and we built out a process to make sure that people's hormones were balanced first, and then we stacked the already working things like eating right for your body and the strength training on top of that. So we had the first 10 people go through the Vantage process 8 years ago. And it's crazy to think that, but we've had close to 2,000 people go through just the Vantage program alone up until now. Once we started to implement the hormone strategy, things like weight loss, it became absolute clockwork. It was a riot seeing the change. People on average, they lose 30 to 35 pounds in 14 weeks, and it's not water weight. An average size of 4 sizes dropped down per person, and their skin started to tighten up around the body because that fat that they lost, it was replaced by good quality muscle that was from the strength training that we had them on. People were absolutely blown away because for the first time in forever, they were bloat free and they didn't have digestive issues that they built upon kind of being over chronic diets over the year. This is the type of results that people continue to see even now. And if I think like at the top of my head right this second, I know that a few people in this round of the program, okay, who have just shared this week, oh shoot, what was the number? So there's Jude, okay? So Jude is down 24, I think 24-ish pounds, like 24.2 or something, not quite 24 and a half. And he's only 10 weeks in, 24 pounds already, okay? I know that Galia lost 3 kgs in the past 2 weeks, okay? So that's 12 pounds. I know that Lisa shared that she's been able to sleep full nights. And since her hormone changes, she's had no hot flashes since her hormone balance. And this is literally just from this week. And I'm so freaking pumped for these FitFam members. But what I'm even more excited about is what comes next for them close to the end of the Vantage program. Because you see, there's actually a second part to the process of this program and coaching that most coaches don't share with you. Most coaches won't share with you, and it's teaching you what you need to do so you can take back full control of health for yourself. Because I mean, it's easy to stay on track with food. It's easy to keep working out and to keep consistently applying the tools learned when you're hopping on weekly coaching calls and you have access to a community that's supporting you every week. It's really easy, okay? But it's not enough. It's not enough to just follow along with what a coach tells you. You actually need to learn and be taught the process of how to make these changes for yourself. That way you can get and be in total control of your health moving forward. And that's what the second part of the Vantage program is. From a food goal, it's to be able to take someone from being on a plan to being able to eat on the fly and make choices at restaurants without you having to be worried that you're off track or scared that you're not doing the right things with food. It's about teaching someone which foods help them stabilize their hormones. So that way, each and every week, you spend less time weighing your food on a scale and more time just visually eating and implementing healthy foods that keep your hormones stable and high naturally. From a workout part, it's about taking someone from a point where they need accountability to work out every week to have them understand, hey, here's what exercises I need to do, and here's how I can exercise in a safe way where I can keep challenging myself without being worried about breaking an ankle or pulling a muscle. When you know what to do and how you can challenge yourself, then activity does not become something that's intimidating, but it becomes something that you can fall in love with. The people in the Vantage community, they love to work out. They love to eat healthy, and they share their picks and they create little challenges for everyone inside. And that helps keep them fired up about the next thing. And now for the hormone piece, because we can't forget the hormone piece, it's not enough for people to just be on a BS calorie cutting diet. We got to teach them how their hormones work so you can finally understand why you feel tired all the time, why your body got into a steady chronic fatigue state, and where you can understand why you've been gaining weight, even though you're doing the same things that you've done for 10 years. In going through this process, you're not going to have to rely on your doctor to tell you how you should feel, but instead you can trust your gut and the way that you feel because you're going to know how to listen to your intuition to make decisions on your health and your wellness. That's the second part of the Vantage program. And finally, for the program, we have the name. If you've never worked with me before, you're going to learn right now that I'm a word person. Words have such important meaning, and we often don't recognize the power of words that we use to name things. There's a reason why it's called spelling, because words, they compel you, they create spells in your life, and the way that we name something or talk about something is literally everything. So anyone who works with me in the future, I'm going to spend so much time with you, for you, truly showing you the meaning of both the words that you say and the words that you're choosing to write. Okay. Tangent, I know, on words. Okay. But it's really talk about the name of the program. The name of the program, Vantage. It actually stands for something. It's virtual accountability, nutrition training, accelerating growth with education. This breakdown is a coverage of everything that's in the program, but Vantage also means something else. If you look in the dictionary, it means a new viewpoint, as in a new start from a higher place. And that is the entire purpose of being in the Vantage program and the FitFam community, is to take yourself to a higher place, mentally, physically, emotionally, than you have ever been before. So if you're looking for a higher place to work on your health and your wellness, if you feel like month after month you've hit a stall in your weight loss, or have been struggling for years going back to back with specialists and doctors trying to work on your digestion, or you've even been trying to remove stress from your life but you're still feeling overwhelmed, then this program, this community, and this space is right where you should be. Here you can grow and build confidence with your food, confidence with your exercise routine, but also gain the skills and the tools so you can start relying on yourself to make decisions, which is actually what's going to benefit you in the long term. So this is what the Vantage program is. Okay. It's powerful, powerful stuff. I get fired up talking about it, but it's because it's literally changed over 2,000 people's lives. So I mean, at this point, why wouldn't I be powerful about it? I know exactly what's possible in this program. And for those of you who don't know, if you haven't been listening to the podcast regularly, we currently have open enrollment on the program, meaning you can apply to join right now and start ASAP. And here's the best part about joining now, if you're listening to this, okay? This is going to be launching between June and July, this episode. And as this episode airs, okay, in just 14 weeks, think about this, from end of June, start of July, okay, 14 weeks, October 1st, because program's 14 weeks long, you can go into the holiday season in the best physical, mental, and emotional shape of your life. 30 pounds down, high energy, fit and toned, with game plan and with confidence to tackle your holiday season and not gain another 5 pounds this year. Because that's what everybody does, right? They get stuck in the same holiday routine. Now, the best part about joining in July is if you join in July, the program is actually $500 off, as we have our annual Sustainable Summer early doors opening. It's all about the sustainable summer. So if you want to take advantage of the program and you want to join right now, which is the perfect opportunity, just go to www.fit4allfitness.com and you're going to click on coaching programs. And from there, you can go to the Vantage program and click to book a call with me. That's where we're going to go over your goals and we're going to show you how to get started and create your own personal game plan. Now, make sure that you put in the application, though, you put Sustainable Summer, so that way we can lock in that guaranteed spot, because we've got 10 spots with the $500 off. So take advantage, literally Vantage, set your new point, set your new viewpoint, there we go, to be able to take yourself to the highest and best version of you through this process. Okay? Now, I'm going to mention one other program in this because I want to keep these podcast episodes really potent. I'm going to mention a new program that we have, which is our Menopause Mastery Program. We built this program And we really built it to show women how to manage and understand their transition through menopause. And it's actually a new program because it came off of the past 3 seminars that I've done. I've done 3 separate seminars, one at a yoga studio, one at a doctor's clinic, and a dental clinic. And all ladies, all struggling through menopause, all of them completely disowned and ignored by their practitioners. And they just want to live a life where they're not sweating buckets every single day, where their weight's managed, and where they understand what menopause is. So it's funny because this program, like, every single person was like, I just wish that someone would really walk me through what was going on with my body. I need to fully understand what menopause is. I need to know how to manage menopause. I want to understand how long it lasts, what I have to do through each stage, because there are stages where you're premenopausal, where you're in transition of menopause, and where you're postmenopausal. All of these things have huge hormonal shifts and changes, and they actually require you to tackle and look at menopause in a completely different way. When we are premenopausal, estrogen is building up, and so we're going to have a lot of challenges with weight. We're going to have a lot of challenges with body temperature and metabolism. When we're during menopause, we're going to have a lot of issues with irritability, with mental clarity, with lack of focus. And then when we're postmenopausal, we're going to have challenges keeping estrogen, as estrogen will be so low that then you're going to start to find low mood, like a type of anxiety, or like a low depression. And all of these things are things that are completely avoidable and manageable if you know how to keep your hormones stable through the process. So that's why I said, forget it. I'm sick and tired of talking to ladies every single day where it's the same thing. They're like, I go to my doctor, they say I'm getting older. I go to a naturopath, they put me on a ton of supplements. And then when I stop the supplements, all of my symptoms come back again. I'm transitioning from person to person, or from specialist to specialist, going to a gynecologist, going to an endocrinologist, and they're just telling me that this is something that I should just have to accept. And here's what I want to tell you about this program. Okay. You do not have to accept. You do not have to accept how your symptoms are feeling, because there are people your age, exactly like you, who are eating healthy, working out, and know the right things to do, who do not have any of your issues. If you're 50, hey, there's a 50-year-old who's not going through this. If you're 40, there's a 40-year-old who's transitioning and not having any issues. If you're postmenopausal, guess what? There's a 55 or 60-year-old woman out there who has transitioned beautifully, and she looks like an absolute goddess and angel, and she's not having monster paws. Like, it's actually something that's managed. And the thing is you just need to understand what the process of menopause is and what you need to do, so that way you can manage it and age gracefully. We're all looking at being Amazonian princesses and women. Okay. And listen, menopause is something that, like, you're like, this guy here is preaching to you about menopause. Okay. Men have a form of it called andropause, but we don't go through as many hormonal changes as the ladies listening right now. You got prenatal, postnatal, premenopause, during menopause, postmenopause. You got every 28 to 32 days on your cycle, where all of these things hormonally, your body can shift. And if it doesn't make the right adjustment going back, you start this endless cycle of these hormonal highs and lows. And that's what's being menopausal is. It can be totally managed. It can be totally controlled in a way that's sustainable, and we can do it with food. You don't have to be on a crazy ton of supplements. You don't have to be taking injections, or the worst thing known to man, which is why I built this program. And I said, literally, fuck it, we're launching this program, is hormone replacement therapy. I will vomit. Please do not take hormone replacement therapy to try and correct or alleviate some of your BS symptoms, because the doctor's like, I'd rather put you on medication than actually teach you how to navigate and manage your own body. It is literally one of the moment you go on replacement therapy, you can kiss goodbye your regulated hormones for the rest of your life. So this program, it is built specifically for menopausal women. It doesn't even matter where you are, pre, during, or post. We're managing your menopause symptoms to get you in a place of what we call homeostasis, which is the natural and stable level where everyone can get to. You can get there. All of your symptoms can go away. Bloat free, no issues with digestion, stable weight. You're not sweating profusely and then cold every single second of every day or rotating. Your skin's not going to get crazy flush, and your mood will be stable. You won't be snapping at people left, right, and center like you're the snapping turtle in your local creek. You're going to actually be a regular, normal human being. So I built the program, and in doing it, we teach you the entire process and step by step for you to be able to manage this so you can age gracefully. Okay. Now, of course, with the Master Menopause Program, guess what? It is only for ladies because there is a certain process that we're going through, but that's literally the only prerequisite of this. Menopausal, check. You a lady, check. Then we've got you, and we'll help you work through anything like this. So through that, again, our group coaching calls, our individual support, making sure that we're building out your nutrition for you. We do it in a specific way to help you alleviate those symptoms. Those are the 3 programs. If you're interested in the Hormone Reboot or the Master Menopause, same thing. You can book a discovery call on our website. You can click each one individually or shoot me over a message via email if you have a couple of questions, and I am happy to be able to tell you which one you are the best fit for. And that's the best spot. That's the best thing about our discovery calls is when we're having a conversation, I will help guide you into which one is going to be the best fit. That's why we have those calls, so we can discuss what's going on, what your challenges are, to then help you select the right place that's for you. So that's going to be a wrap up of this episode, our 3 main programs. Any questions, you can always message me, but make sure that we, for Sustainable Summer, take advantage of the Sustainable Summer. If you are have been hovering in the background of our podcast, if you've been watching my content and you're like, is this the opportunity? Yes, it's $500 off. You can lock in your spot. We have 10 spots for applications right now. Get in. Let's do this. And that's all for this episode. Thanks, guys. Bye. Well, it seems I'm all out of info juice for today. That's all for this episode, and thank you so much for listening. Please leave a raving review for me if you've learned something good, and make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss an episode. Now, if you're in the mood for some more great content and tools to get your hormones on track, why not check out our free Facebook group and the blog on our site? We do amazing weekly trainings in our group that me and my wife call Tea and Teachings that give good tips for anything hormones and metabolism related. It's also a great community where you get to share your goals and success with like-minded people just like you. I'll make sure to drop both the Facebook group link and the blog link in the show notes for you. Or if you're ambitious like me, the name of the group is Weight Loss and Balanced Hormones. It'll say Fit4All beside it with a picture of me. So come and join us and have more fun.